living with my soulmates topic. Would a solo heritage travel trip be dysfunctional? Today is Tuesday, 29 July 2025, and here I, Tanis Coralee of Seattle, talk through some of my thinking on a living with my soulmates topic. Would me going on a heritage travel trip on my own, solo, be dysfunctional? My previous heritage travel trip in July 2019, I went solo, and I was not living with a soulmate of mine at the time. So at the time, I defined my heritage travel trip series. Going each trip solo was kind of a dedication to my own abilities, just basic functional and basic communication, and confidence, and making sure I did stay dedicated to family and stuff like that. And kind of finding my tastes in my ancestral homeland, home region, And so for me, it was like, okay, like I did actually think, I was like, was there a case where it would be dysfunctional? This was back in like the 2010s decade, kind of a definition level. And I'll link to my heritage travel trip series playlist in the video description, along with what could go wrong, my what could go wrong playlist. And so I'm trying to figure out whether solo travel would be dysfunctional, and specifically this heritage travel trip series I defined. And I was like, okay, 3 things. One of 3. Because I have restricted my first travel to these countries around this heritage travel trip series, possibly dysfunctional. So that would be like, my soulmate is competing at the Silverstone Grand Prix, and I'm like, which is like, what, in England? And I have not been to England, and I'm like, I can't go. I haven't been on my heritage travel trip series. So like, depending, like, right, the soulmate could be tolerant of that, or they could be like, really, babe? Like, but for you, it's just another Grand Prix. For me, that'd be my first time for England. It was supposed to be about my family, right? So, it's possibly dysfunctional. They're supportive of me in this series. However, I was just like, so that isn't tentatively a problem. And especially like after I finish the trip, then we can go to as many Grand Prix as they want. Right? It's just the first. Okay. So, 2 of 3. How about a possibly dysfunctional for the case of a second head blunt force trauma incident? I fell backwards and hit my head on tile back in 2014, October 2014, and I got long-term memory loss amnesia, as well as an external hematoma, and went to the emergency room. My dad flew out from the mainland Seattle area to Hawaii to take me to the emergency room. So I'm like, so is like in the case of something like that happening, it'd be great to have a soulmate there. However, that's not something I want to like be like, I don't want to bait that in any way. So this is what is a possibly dysfunctional, right? Not having my soulmate there. However, like, I also do not want to wish that upon myself. So yeah, okay. So 3 of 3. Yes, dysfunctional if my soulmate and I have limited time together, like my guy is gone traveling and competing at a bunch of Formula 1 Grand Prix events throughout the year, and he was available to come on the trip with me. So like, let's say he's gone for 36 weekends of the year, and those weekends tend to be 4 to 5 days, including travel, and he's back for like a month, and I'm like, I'm off on a heritage travel trip because this is the only month I could get off from work. He's like, well, I'm available. I would consider that dysfunctional for me to not include him. Okay. This one is a car racing sport specific for me. This is Formula 1 car racing, and the Grand Prix kind of circuit format is one where I saw that back in the 2010s decade, and I'm like, that's like the only thing in all of sports that I would actually be like, legitimately, if my guy is a like Formula 1 car racer, like I may need to like think about including like changing this to allow him to come to include this. I mean, like, I really see him that little. Right? It's about trying to make things work. All right, so don't let it become dysfunctional. Yeah. And then also, I was like, this could work even if they are not in racing season, not racing. How? If I am in my building them a car process, my Lewis and my Brad, Going on a trip together could help me with my designs in the sense of if they drive on the Heritage Travel Trip series, it would let me see how they handle a particular vehicle under non-routine driving conditions. This is super true if our time together is limited. It's also super true if, let's say, I'm designing or building them a car, and we have our set of cars, but we have our eye on this heritage. I'm eyeing my Heritage Travel Trip series, and they have the car company I'm thinking of renting a car through has like 5 cars, and I'm like, that car brand there that we don't own any of, I want to see how you drive it for that gas pedal, how you handle that gas pedal. All right, so it's really great in the sense of if we want to drive a car other than one we currently have or own or have access to, then the Heritage Travel Trip could be great for actually the car building process. Oh, like let's see how the driver handles that particular feature on a car we don't normally have access to. With the catch being, it's not supposed to be about work. So this is like, so again, the emphasis here is if our time together is limited. So there we go. I came up with one, yes, 2 possibilities, but like maybe we try to not make the possibilities a reality. And I was like, and then the last one was very vehicle racing and design specific. So there we go. That's living with my soulmates topic. Would a solo Heritage Travel Trip be dysfunctional? And I'm filming this Tuesday, 29 July 2025.